And my life would have been 100% simpler without ever knowing anything about it.
I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I just wanted to forget the whole incident.
And if the answer to the question is yes, raise your index finger.
Bill and Peggy Foster both claimed they were abducted by gray alien beings. They claimed that medical experiments were performed on them.
I do see some of those gray shades.
We have the hypnotic regression sessions of Bill and Peggy Foster. This is exclusive to UFO hunters, right? This is something that we have access to. We're watching this for the first time. Nobody else has seen these tapes.
Close to my face. This one's taller than the rest. Much bigger eyes. It's like looking into eternity.
That's poetic. He seems to be describing a gray. I think he was describing a very profound experience. I mean, you're looking into the eyes of a being that's visiting this planet. I mean, that's huge.
What happened when you look at him?
Really relaxes me.
So what do you guys think about his description of the being? Huge eyes, and the being has a tranquilizing effect on him.
Well, his description of the huge eyes obviously comports with Betty Hill's description and other descriptions that everybody has given of a gray. Huge eyes. The tranquilizing effect, what do you think? Telepathic?
Yeah, it sounds standard. I've heard it before. Feeling calm through telepathy. It's what everybody says happened.
Yes, you want just relax. It hurts so bad.
We can't know their inner psychological states and their character. I mean, Bill seems to have been taking this rather well. He's calm when he's reliving this, and here we can see Peggy is very emotional.
That's right, just let them come.
And I think this is the best example. This is the best evidence we have that something traumatic happened to these two people.
Peggy cringed in terror at the alien's touch. This is in stark contrast to what we heard from Miriam about the benevolent grays.
And then I start hearing a voice in my head. Do not be afraid, we will not harm you.
They're examining something. Okay. Like they're looking down.
They're doing something to her that is denying her ability to control the situation.
Listening to Peggy's experiences is very disturbing. It's excruciating watching this video. It sounds like it was a very emotional experience for her.
Although we don't have tangible evidence of some kind of abduction, we don't have a piece of a gray or a piece of the craft, this is the evidence here. A couple that has undergone some kind of traumatic experience. I think something happened to them, and we have to be open to the possibility that they had an actual experience.
So here's what we know. Miriam told us the gray aliens are helpers. But from what Bill and Peggy told us, the Greys are performing serious medical experiments, some of them quite sinister. Is this a current phenomenon, or is there evidence of contact dating back to ancient times?
What if there really was an extraterrestrial contact in the remote past?
Giorgio Tsoukalos is the publisher of Legendary Times magazine. He believes the ancient astronaut theory that contact was made and documented thousands of years ago.
We have all these accounts of these beings that descended from the sky. In fact, in the ancient Sumerian culture, those beings have a specific name, the Anunnaki. And translated into English, Anunnaki means those who from the heavens came.
Exactly, and there's the evidence right in the Sumerian cuneiforms. The big head with the rays coming out of it. It's this.
Well,
are you sure? Well, here we go again with Bill making the extraterrestrial connection without getting all the facts together. Kevin and I are trying to proceed cautiously, trying to separate anecdotal evidence from fact before we come to any conclusions.
Well, it's the image, the lines coming out of it.
Look at the cuneiform and look at that head.
I mean, I just don't want to get all excited and go straight to this. Well, no, I just need a little more.
What the ancients describe as gods, beings coming down from the heaven, are actually aliens coming down from the sky. This has been referenced in every culture, in every folk tale, time and time again.
This here is a photograph of some figurines that were found in Africa. And these are ancient, and here we do see some sort of a similarity with the big slanted eyes, and the stories behind these statues always is in correlation with some beings that descended from the sky.
These don't really look alike, if you ask me. I think it's kind of obvious, but looking at these African sculptures, they clearly do not resemble the Greys in any way, shape, or form.
This one right here with the cone head looks very lizard-like. This is from Sumeria.
That's a little bit closer.
And over here we have some cave drawings that look very similar to something like this.
Yeah, it's kind of eerie. Ancient cultures have always had myths and legends of beings that have been called gods, that come down from the skies. But what we need is real physical evidence that Greys, which might be interpreted as gods, have actually made contact with humans.
Kevin wants proof. Giorgio pointed us to the Star Child skull, which many believe is the remains of a Grey.
The Star Child skull is a very fascinating find. We don't know yet whether or not this is a misshaped human skull or whether or not it is a hybrid being, because in many, many ancient texts it is written that these gods did intermingle with our ancestors.
During all my years of researching UFOs, the one artifact that keeps coming up is the Star Child skull. I've never held the Star Child skull in my hand, but I know that it was found in the 1930s in a cave in northern Mexico by a teenage girl. It's been speculated from the shape of the skull that it's of alien origin, possibly from a Grey. Now that we know who the owner is, I'm excited to get my hands on it. This could be the greatest single find in the history of UFOs.
I don't think we can put too much stock in what Giorgio told us. I mean, what we have are cave paintings of people with big heads and big eyes. That does not mean aliens have come to visit us on Earth.
Well, you know what? I disagree with you about the cave painting, but more important than that, we have an eyewitness. We have Miriam. Miriam said she was taking aboard a craft. She met the small Greys, the large Greys. I don't think she's making it up. I think she's telling the truth.
The testimony of Giorgio and Miriam, in my opinion, it's not solid evidence to conclude that aliens have come to visit us. We need something physical.
You guys want evidence? Melanie will show you the evidence. Hi, Melanie.
Glad you came to El Paso.
You've heard so much about the Star Child skull. Melanie Young is a medical professional who specializes in neonatal care, and she's one of the most qualified people to speak on human physiology. Oh, wow.
Well, this is the normal one that was found.
So this is not the Star Child?
This is not the Star Child, but
okay.
This is the skull that was found laying next to the Star Child on top of the ground.
Nothing unusual yet.
No. But this is what's unusual.
Oh, God. So this is the famous Star Child skull.
Yes, it is.
This is huge. One of the biggest events since I've started investigating UFOs. Two skulls found together. One seemingly an adult, the other apparently a child.
Do you know how old this is?
It's been carbon dated 900 years old.
Wow. This 900-year-old artifact was allegedly found in a cave in the Copper Canyon region of Mexico by a woman living in a small village. Now, I can't say there's a connection to the Greys, but if there is, it's almost impossible to comprehend.
The normal skull was laying on top of the ground with the complete skeleton. And coming out of the ground was a deformed hand. And so she dug up the deformed hand and found a complete skeleton.
Where is the skeleton now?
So she picked up both skeletons and took them back to the village, and they had a rainstorm and everything got washed away. And the very next day, this is all she could find.